Hi everyone. Today we have Santiago from Florida, and he's a computer scientist like me. He's also an expert in machine learning, artificial intelligence. He also had an insane growth on Twitter last month, so he will tell us everything about this in this video. How are you, Santiago?
I'm doing great. I'm super happy that you invited me. Super happy of been doing this. I've been following all the other interviews
Oh,
that
nice.
you've been posting. This is a great initiative. So I'm very, very happy of helping you with this.
And the strange thing is there's something very, very simple, something almost
It is.
almost stupid.
Yeah, it is. Let's just have a conversation, just a few minutes, and let's post them. And you can get a lot of information from these videos.
It's about people. It's about developer people who are developers. A lot of people that are watching this kind of videos are developers, so we can freely talk about frameworks, Python languages.
Absolutely.
Everyone, understand this. Also, sorry, I'm not a journalist, but if you talk about something specific of computer science, maybe I can understand you. I'm a bit rusty with algorithms, but if you talk about that, I'll try to follow you. Yes, please introduce a little bit yourself. I'd love to hear your story because we have not interacted a lot in Twitter. So now maybe here it's easier also for me to know you a little more.
Thank you. So the quick story is I'm originally from Cuba. So I came here to United States back in 2009. So it's been like about 11 years. Live in Florida right now. Back in Cuba, I got my bachelor's degree in computer science. Here in the States, I got my master's degree in computer science with a specialization in machine learning. Since I started learning machine learning, that was it for me. I really, really wanted to do that. So I've been combining for the last few years, I've been combining my knowledge in software engineering with machine learning, and I'm super happy with that. And at this point, I think what's in front of me, or one of the things that are in front of me, is trying to bring more people, trying to teach more people, trying to share the gift of learning, specifically on a super exciting area that's artificial intelligence. That area, I think, is going to change the world as we know it. And we do need great people. We need people helping and pushing it forward. So that's sort of like my mission.
I love the word mission because
the mission word.
We need something to do in our lives.
Of course, you need to focus on something and a purpose, right? So that when you have a purpose, you are going to do everything that it takes to achieve it. So it's really important for sure.
I always say that the hard part is always to find this mission. But when you see the purpose, it seems everything seems easy for you.
Absolutely.
If you know what to do, then you have just to do that. After that,
absolutely.
It may sound strange, but maybe you can understand this. That if once you find what's your place in the world, what you have to do, when you wake up,
everything becomes clear. I think it's super important for everyone to try to find what makes you happy. What do you think is your place in the world? How can you make a difference? And just go at it and pursue that and make it happen. And I think everyone can. And it's it's gonna sort of like fulfill you and make you a better person.
I already love you for what you said. even if I stop it now, it will be.
You get okay.
And I think that some lucky people guess this when maybe then we are really young, we are kids. I want to be a medic, I want to be something, but it doesn't have to be when you are really a child. It can also be when you are 20, 30, 40, 60.
I think there is no age to do what you and to find what you want to do. And let me tell you something now that we're talking about this. So I think I've been lucky enough that I've always wanted to be what I am today. I mean, just like work in tech. Let's put it this way. So I've been very lucky. But one of the best things about working in tech is that I'm doing what I want to do. That makes me happy. So it's not about the money. It's not about the position. It's not about the companies that I can work for. It's that it actually lets me wake up every single morning and be happy about that, knowing that I cannot wait to get to my computer to do something. And there is a lot of value in that. I know people, I have friends that they are miserable in what they do, regardless of how much money they make. It doesn't really matter. So at some point, money stops mattering. It's important, but stops being that thing that's gonna make you wake up. So whenever, 6 a.m., they don't want to get off bed. They are only thinking about when is the weekend coming. How can I take a couple more days? How can I just do something different? And that is a miserable life. So for anyone that's sort of like in that rat race, anyone that's not happy because of the stuff that you're doing they don't like, please consider changing. Please consider doing something else. And tech might be a solution. It might be something completely different, right? And there is no age for that. You don't have to be 20. You don't have to be 50. You can be whatever you want. You can make a change. And that will make an entire difference in your life. So just gonna shut up right now, but I think it's an important message
it's good. Yeah, it's great because sometimes maybe we have to make it different by being consistent and doing something because I'm just used to do that. Mm-hmm. They are kind of different things because maybe they say, okay, I've always done this work. I always done this job. It has always been this way. This is just my life. But you can change. Yeah, and especially especially if you want to start some path in development. I think it's one of the area when you can be quite successful. Also, if you start not very young.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, and we usually focus on development, but there are multiple paths into tech. I know project managers, I know Scrum Masters, I know QA people. What they do is test other people's code, designing, UX. There's so many different paths that you can take to get into tech. I know salespeople that became developers. I think you interviewed here Simon. Simon is one of those.
Yeah.
I know project managers that personally know project managers that became developers later. So it's not only development, there are multiple ways that you can get into technology and change your life for good. It's incredible.
I love this mindset because I follow you on Twitter, but having you here is different, of course, than just reading your tweets.
Reading is one thing, talking is a different thing.
Course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you are here in person, so I can hear this with your voice. I'm also getting relaxed a little bit with my fingers because I've been chatted and written for so many months. So I'm doing this sort of stuff. So it's good also for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with everything you say. Yeah, and also even if I've not worked in machine learning area because this happened to me. I started working for the European Space Agency. I worked like a developer here there. So I had some background of algorithms. I studied a little bit of them on the exams.
Right.
So what would you say that would be because sometimes some people, they ask me, how could I get started in machine learning? What use cases? How the most important question is how I get started, because sometimes people, they are lost in the beginning. Absolutely, they don't know what to do. We have passed through this every area. So
Mhm.
yeah, what would you suggest?
Yeah.
Apart the fact of following you, of course, follow him.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the most important one, obviously. But the second most important thing, the second most important thing is to realize that machine learning, it's sort of like a field that has come out of the, let me call it the lab, the university right now. So what I mean by that is there's been a lot of research recently, and right now we're starting to apply everything that has come out of the, those labs. So what happens with that is that usually the people that are teaching artificial intelligence, the people that are teaching machine learning, have a lot of or a huge academic background, and they sort of like focused on what they know best, which is this academic background. So that's, usually what happens is a lot of papers and then people explaining those papers. And, this has, and this is going to evolve with time, but right now we're in that sort of like mid-weird position where every or all the new information that we're getting is coming from academia, and it's heavily hard to digest. Let me put it that way. So it's heavy math. There is a lot of requirements that you need to have to understand these papers to sort of like make sense. There are a lot of questions on how do I even take this and create something that's useful for other people? How can I apply all of these papers and knowledge and whatnot? So this has led people to believe that in order for you to be successful in machine learning, you need to know a lot of math, or you need to have a degree, you need to have a PhD, you need to have a master's. You get companies saying that for you to apply, they require you to have a PhD, right? So this has sort of like make people believe that the requirements to break into the field are really, really difficult to achieve, right? So I talk with a lot of people that they say, well, I would love to work there, but I don't know math. I don't know how to do, advanced whatever. I'm here to tell you that that is a myth. You do not need advanced math to get started, to be successful, to be valuable. I'm not saying that math is not important, and there is a different distinction there. Of course, math is important. Do you need math to get started? No. Math will come later. You can learn the math as you need it. If you do learn the math, you are probably going to be able to work on different problems that people who do not know math, they won't be able to get there. But that's okay. It's like if we were talking about development, it's like me telling you that there is no way you can be a developer if you don't know Docker. That is simply not true. You can be a front-end developer, you can be a back-end developer, you can be a database developer, you can do a lot without Docker. That is not to say that Docker is not important. It is really important. And if you do know Docker, now all of a sudden you can work in a lot of different problems where Docker is a great solution. But is Docker a requirement to be a developer? No, it's not. It's something that you can get to, something that you can grow into. Same thing happens with math. So all of this is a sort of like long explanation to tell you that the one thing you do not need to start is math. If you do know the math, that is great. If you want to start with math, that is great. I'm not going to discourage you, but you do not need that. This is the one requirement that you do need to start making progress. You need to know how to program, because machine learning is very heavy programming, obviously. What language should you pick? If you ask me, you should pick Python. That is not the only path. It's the most common path. So if you go to Stack Overflow, if you see the top deep learning libraries that are out there, they are in Python. So if you do know Python, your life is going to be easier. Learn Python. That's your only requirement. And from that point, you can start making progress. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. And it makes sense because for example, I was close to be a mathematician. I love math in my case. So I started computer science because I love math instead of coding. And then I get used to, I felt in love with code after starting the university. It's a bit strange because a lot of people, they start doing the university because they love coding. I think a little bit of misconception. I started with computer science instead of just math because I think maybe it's a bit more advanced, it's a bit more practical.
Right.
But I love math, but then I loved how math is applied to something. So this is what I love. I love math, but I love to see that applied to something concrete.
Yeah, of course.
And also, of course, I agree on all the Docker things that you say. You put the perfect analogy. Yeah, and also what you suggest, I think it's good because sometimes I get some questions like, should I start with Docker or other container engine? I think that if you don't know what to do, starting with the most used thing is not just because you want to do a mainstream thing, but it's because there are a lot of solutions about your problem.
It's a path that has been taken before. You're going to find people that are posting solutions, answering questions. The community will be more vibrant. And that's what you want, because that community will welcome you, will help you move along. So that's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, but this is for every area. Once you are an expert, you can do whenever you want. You can switch a language. You can use a very new language, a particular one. But of course, when you begin, you need to be mainstream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to do what other people do because it's easier for you to get started. And what to say to get started is the hardest part, I think. And
it is.
In your case, maybe it's even heavier because I think maybe, don't get me wrong, but maybe getting started with web development, it's a bit easier. Not because they value less than machine learning, of course, but maybe getting started to create a site, it's easier.
Right. You can create a site relatively easy
to start.
compared to, absolutely.
Course, I think that in the end, we should do what we feel. So, for example, if we are very curious about numbers, statistics, data science in a sense, why not try?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and of course, for some people, especially people that never been developers and they don't know where they want to get, maybe they want to get somewhere, but they're not sure how to get there. I would recommend them to try different things. Try web development.
Yeah.
And then when you learn some web development, try something different, and maybe you're going to like it more. Again, the idea is to find your purpose, to find where you can combine your skills. I mean, some things I'm just not good at them. I'm not good at front-end development. I've done it. So I've done Angular, I've done React, I've done tons of JavaScript, done a little bit of TypeScript. I don't want to work there. I don't feel that I have skills to work there. I don't enjoy it. So that's not the type of work that I do, right? So I try to shy away from web development. I move to other areas. So everyone is different. Most of my friends are web developers. That's what they enjoy. They like it, right? So find your path, find your ways. There are multiple things that you can do. And when you find it, just be the best at it. That's it. Go with everything and be very, very good at them. That's it.
Yeah, and
things will happen.
Yeah, and I think that in our area, in our tech world, it's really very, very important to find our purpose because otherwise, I think you get bored. I think because we are sitting in front of a monitor. Sometimes we should take breaks, of course, but by doing a mental activity, if you do, maybe if you are hungry, you could do some physical activities. Also, maybe it could also help you. But if you do a mental activity, it's harder. If you do something that you don't like, you start hating yourself after a while. So why should you do this? Maybe just because you think that something is it could be more useful for you. But if you don't like this,
Yeah, if you
there's
don't
no
like it,
point.
it's not gonna work. You're gonna quit. That's the other thing, right? So being a developer is hard. It's a lot of work. It never stops. You're never an expert, and all of a sudden you're an expert for life. It's today you are an expert working with Docker. Guess what? Docker keeps improving. Docker keeps releasing functionality. You need to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Because what you know today is going to be obsolete in a couple of years. Exactly. So in order for you to stay on top, you really need to be motivated. You really need to like this. Yeah. So I know a lot of people that want to get into tech because of the money, because they say, well, it pays well. You ain't going to make it. It's just not going to happen because you're going to get bored. Yeah. It's going to get difficult, and you're going to be at best mediocre. So don't get into tech because of that. Find your purpose, and then you are going to be amazing.
Yeah,
that's it.
And also, as you said, it's plenty of different purposes inside tech. So you need to be a little bit more specific before getting serious about one topic. Yeah, and I also suggest to take your time. Maybe, I don't know, months, the time you need to find your.
Yeah, I mean, explore things. Yeah, explore. It takes time. It takes your entire life, but you are exploring, and at some point you're gonna find something that I'm really good at this. And you're gonna start niching down and liking that better and reading about it more, and you're gonna become that expert.
Yeah. For example, for me, in DevOps and the Docker, it was the thing for me, and I think that when you find that thing, you feel that, know that. Yeah. I don't know if
for sure.
I don't know if you get me. You say, okay, this is what I like. This is what I like. Yeah. You go to sleep, you wake up, and you say to yourself, yeah, that's it. Let's get to
that's the thing for me. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I agree. That's exactly the way it happens. Yep.
Yeah. I think in a way it's like love. You know when it happens. I don't know, maybe
it's like love, right?
Maybe it's a bit a romantic analogy, but that's it. Yeah, you feel that. You feel the difference. That as you said, you can't do something just for money. In my case, I don't know. I don't judge people who say that, oh no, I don't like coding. I do this for money. It's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it for money. I'm just saying, if you do it for money, you're probably not going to like it. You don't necessarily like it unless you start liking it, which is totally fine. So don't get me wrong. Do it for whatever reason you want to do it. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But if you find what you like within that development area or tech space, if you find what you like, you're going to enjoy that money way more than if you don't like what you're doing. So that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's totally. It's very, very important for us because, as you said, we need to be curious about what we do every day. And if you don't like something, it's hard to go to that page. For example,
that extra mile.
Yeah. For example, if you don't like Docker, for example, I take this as an example. It's hard that you stay on their site every day, as for example I do. It's hard.
It is gonna be really hard to keep up.
I don't know. For example, how you get your news, how you stay updated, for example. But I think that in your case, when you wake up, I don't know if you get coffee or something else. But after that, I think that you go checking something to stay updated on that topic. I think, I suppose.
Yeah, no, what I do is, you're exactly right. The stuff that I do every day that I need to keep up to date, I subscribe to newsletters. I buy books. I read them. I'm totally trying new things. Not because my job is asking me to try those things, but because I like to experiment and see what the new feature looks like and read about the release notes of a new library. Let me see what they came up with. And I do that because I like it and because I know that's the way for me to keep on top of everything that's going on. And this industry moves fast. It's every day something new. Every day you get a new release, a new tool, a new way of doing something. This moves really, really fast, which is great for progress, but it also keeps us on our toes. We have to be constantly moving with it. So yeah, it's interesting for sure.
It's harder to get bored if you're
Oh
curious.
yeah, no, absolutely.
If you're
There is no
curious,
boring here.
if you're curious about the development and this tech world, I think
there is no boring days here. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're moving fast. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, So thank you. I like your mindset. Having you here is really different. It's very good.
Cool. Awesome.
So, I love your tattoos also.
Oh yeah.
Very good ones.
A lot of them. That's Guernica.
Yeah.
So it's
Guernica.
a Picasso.
Wow.
Yeah. When I went to Madrid and I had the opportunity to see the original painting, it's just breathtaking. It's huge and it's breathtaking.
I've seen that with my eyes. Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yes. Sorry for the off topic, but okay. But
no, that's totally fine. That's tech as well.
Yeah.
I did it. The design was done in a computer, so that's tech. So.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit about your social media, because I've seen that you have like an insane Twitter growth. So everyone, they want to copy you. They want to know how you did that. So can you tell us your personal experience from your point of view? Because in at the end of the day, it was you that you were doing something. So how has been this?
So definitely. So number one, I think the first thing that I did that was really important. By the way, I created an account on Twitter in 2009, and I was on and off. And so the first thing that I did was getting rid of everyone that was toxic from my profile. And I cannot say this enough times because it's really important. If you don't enjoy coming to Twitter, you're not gonna make a dent. You're not gonna be able to do anything with it because it's going to poison your day. And that happened to me multiple times. So I was on and off from Twitter because Twitter was making me sick. I came here reading the news, reading people saying things, and I was depressed after that. So the last time I came, it was in May this year. So it was, 5 months ago, whatever it is. The first thing that I did was I'm going to follow people that bring me joy, bring me happiness, people that I want to talk to, and I get rid of everyone else. So I clean my feed, added a bunch of people. One mistake that I make is obviously when you're trying to follow people, I'm going to try to follow the big names in tech. So, the people that everyone knows, the people that are making a dent in the industry. The problem with that is that those people are usually not tweeting about work. They usually tweet about politics or society, or, they are at a different level. That is great, that's fine, but that's not the people that you can actually comment on and bounce the ideas on and off and actually have technical discussions. So I decided okay, so this is not working. Let me try to find people that are actually talking about development. And guess what? Tech Twitter is huge. There are so many people usually talking a lot about JavaScript, but you can also find Python and machine learning. If you search enough, you're going to find those. So find those. And when you find that community, start following people, start replying to people. Nobody knows you. That's the reality of it. And what's even worse, nobody cares about what you have to say unless they have a reason to trust you. Okay. And I think it's Daniel Vasallo's Twitter course where he says you have to establish credibility. And that is so true. So as soon as people think that you know that what you're talking about, people are going to follow. Okay. So my strategy on Twitter was, let me help people. Let the content speak by itself. By the way, when I started tweeting, nobody cared. I've posted a bunch of the same tweets that I posted 6 months ago because I didn't have any followers and they didn't get any likes and nobody was listening. So the content will find its way. Just find accounts. Some people say interact with big accounts. Sure, but with smaller accounts as well. Just talk to people. And if you're smart, if what you have to say it's good, people will start noticing. And then you're going to start going up. And again, the main way you're going to grow your account is if you give, and don't ask for anything in return. If you ask people, can you follow me? People will ignore you. If you ask people, here is a link, click on that link. Think about it. When you post the link, you're asking me to click, get out of Twitter. I was browsing Twitter. You're asking me to get out of the website, spend 15 minutes reading something, and then come back. That I'm not going to do that unless I really trust that what you have to say is really important. So don't post links. Try to take that down. Maybe what I did was create a Twitter thread, right? You're going to read the thread, and maybe later you're going to click on the link if it's interesting enough, if you want more information. That's one way of doing it. You want people to, read your content right there. So give, never ask, and Twitter is going to notice for sure. That's it. That's the strategy. Just I mean, I have tactics, but tactics are about how do I craft the message?
Yeah.
Right. When you think about how you browse Twitter, by the way, some people say use 20 hashtags. I never use hashtags. I don't think they do anything for me. Never done anything for me. I don't use them. Whenever I included like a couple hashtags, I got 2 more likes. It's not good, right? None of my content that has gone quote unquote viral has had any hashtags, never. So it's never happened. For some people work, that's fine. For me, never work. I do craft the messages. What I mean by that is I know when you're browsing, you're going to spend 2 seconds tops reading the first couple of sentences of my tweet. You're moving, right? You're scrolling down on your Twitter feed, maybe a couple of seconds. Yeah. How can I attract you in those 2, 3, 4 words? So I do think a lot about that. So when I type something, you're going to notice that my tweets, the first sentence is the most important sentence. And I've done experiments where I just reverse the first sentence with the second one. So instead of saying, so let me give you an example. I'm going to tweet something to talk about, JavaScript, okay? And I'm going to say, JavaScript is great. This is something that it's going to change the way you do something. Those are the 2 sentences. JavaScript is great. This is something that is going to change the way you do web development. Reversing those 2 sentences, you're going to get incredibly different engagement results. And the problem is that for those that don't like JavaScript, for example, you're starting your tweet with JavaScript is great. They know or they don't care. They're going to move on. But if I say first, this is something that's going to change the way you develop. Now, regardless of who you are, you're going to stop and you're going to read the whole thing because that is going to catch your eye. So crafting the words in a tweet has a huge potential value in how many people are going to engage with that tweet. Other than that, give, never ask. That's it. That's simple.
Yeah. I love simple things because because maybe someone will be disappointed because they wanted to know, okay, I want to do exactly, you have to tell me exactly what I need to do. And I want just to click a button and have 30,000 followers tomorrow.
No, it doesn't happen.
That's not going to happen. But but what you say, it's really important because, and I think that, what you say, it's true, of course, the important, but I think that also what you did, for example, from my point of view, when I see your tweets, also, I think that over time you created some credibility. So even if you say something that I don't know if it's get catchy, by seeing that it's you, maybe I can stop and then read. So
Yeah, no, absolutely.
it's not just only the message. I think that sometimes we just check the profile pic, maybe. So
Yeah,
yeah, if we know that someone, for example, does really good tweets, usually it's useful to
of
people.
course. Yeah.
Maybe I could stop and just read anyway. So also,
Yeah.
I think this is also important. Yeah. So
Yeah, for sure. At that point, you and I have a relationship. So I know your tweets, I know your content. Now I'm going to stop regardless of what you say because I know you produce good content. The
yeah,
problem is, how do we establish that relationship in the first place? How do I get you trust me, right? And at that point is where it comes all the tactics and experiments, and there is a lot that you can do. But what's really important is that you pay, you establish that credibility. You say who you are,
yeah,
why you should listen to me, and it's good content. And by the way, by
yeah,
good content, it doesn't mean that you have to be an expert. It means that you are helpful to other people. It's not being an expert on I'm not an expert on anything. I just try to be helpful. And I make a
yeah,
lot of mistakes. A lot of the tweets that I've posted are not factual or they have mistakes. It's just the way it goes. It doesn't matter. People are going to call you out. Who cares? But a lot of people get a lot from those tweets because I'm helping them. That establishes credibility for sure. Yeah.
yeah. I'm something strongly believing in creating true connections. This is also one of the reasons of this kind of videos, because
Yeah.
I think I posted about this maybe today that it's important to create strong connections and not weak connections, because sometimes I think that the social media, they try to trick us to make just more likes, just more followers, just
Right.
more fun. Instead, we should work on quality connections with people, even if they are just 100 people,
It's
100
a lot of people.
real connection on social media. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know 100 people. I think if
Yeah.
I, like
Yeah.
in person,
Yeah.
if you look at do you have 100 friends in real life?
No.
Probably not, right?
No.
So 100 people is a lot of connections
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. For example, for me, doing 100 of this kind of videos, it means that I've known a little bit more 100 people, and for me it will be
Yeah, that is great.
a lot. So yeah, this we should work on this, because sometimes
Yeah.
I'm also experiencing this, that now today I have to do 100 followers, so maybe I get more likes. They try to do this to us, I think, because this is the game of any social.
It is a game. Social media is definitely a game.
We should
Yeah.
invent some social who doesn't work like
Yeah, that
I
is
think.
true. Like the metric is having fewer followers but more connections.
Yeah.
This is the other thing that's important is when while you're hiding behind a keyboard and an avatar, people don't think sometimes that there is a human on the other side. But when you talk to people, when you see people, and when you realize, holy moly, that's a human being, right? That's typing that. It's not we call them trolls, but a troll is like we have sort of like dehumanized them in a certain way.
Yeah.
They are sometimes, I mean, they might be trolls or trolling, but sometimes, most times, I would say 100% of the time, they are real people, unless they are a bot, with sentiments, with families, with children, with whatever, right? So whenever we establish these connections, you put a face to that avatar, you put a face to those tweets, and the dynamic changes. You're more willing to not just to get mad at me because I said something that you don't agree with me, but to actually have a conversation, to actually say, hey, I don't think that's the right thing. You are going to see me as a human. That's really important.
Yeah, we should just have interactions. Even some criticism, it's always helpful. It can be really helpful. The good criticism would be really great.
Absolutely.
I always look for, please tell me what's wrong with my videos, with my articles, because I want to improve. Yeah, and also, it's I think it's important. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. So
feedback is what makes us grow. Feedback, somebody coming and saying, hey, I don't think I've gotten a lot of feedback on Twitter. Twitter is great because of that. So I post stuff And whenever somebody has a better solution or somebody has a different idea,
Yeah.
I really appreciate people coming and telling me, hey,
Yeah.
you're saying this, but I've tried that and it's actually better. And I've learned a lot just from that feedback. That is great. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we are a community. There's
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's not one person that knows everything. And there is also this misconception. I repeat this here. Some people, they think that if you have 20,000 followers, you know everything about tech world.
No way. Yeah, it means that you're good at maybe selling yourself, but that's it. It doesn't mean that you are a great developer. It just, I know a lot of people that have 40, 50,000 followers and they admit, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm just learning here. And that is great. They're very good with their account. They're very good with social media. They know how to grow and to create an audience, but it doesn't mean that they're great developers. So yeah, but I get the idea, people tend to listen more to those that have a huge following, right?
Yeah.
Those must be doing something right when they have a lot of people following. So it's unfortunately it's the way it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. And also the opposite. You can have 100 followers and maybe you just don't use social media.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're a super expert of a topic, the best expert in the world, and you just don't like Twitter. That's it. Maybe you tweet once in a month, once for here, so you don't have followers. But
yeah. So the way I try to think about that is true, right? So that's absolutely true. You might have an expert that they don't use social media, so they don't have a lot of followers. If you're personally looking to follow someone, you're probably better off following the person that is not an expert but has built a community than the expert, because the expert is not tweeting anyway. So you're not getting anything from that expert anyway. So that's probably something that's fueling people to, other people in social media with more followers, because you're probably gonna get from them a lot of information, a lot of help. So that's great. It's a huge community, and I'm really glad it works the way it works. So.
Yeah, and I think too you did a really great job. So yeah, it has been really it's really great to have you here. Yes, So do you use any other social media? Do you use, because I know you because of Twitter? Do you know, or do you use anything else?
So I do not use Facebook at all. So I don't. I usually I don't want to deal with Facebook. I have a LinkedIn profile, but I'm not usually active there. So I keep it for work and whatnot. So I'm not active there. But this is what's important for me. I always try to minimize the amount of things that I have to focus on. So I really like to do a good job at whatever I put my time towards. That's why I'm right now I'm focusing on Twitter. That's why I'm not writing blog posts. That's why I don't want to create a YouTube channel. That's why I don't want to split my time and spread myself too thin, because then I'm going to do an okay job on everything, but that's not what I'm after. What I'm after is I want to be the best at whatever I put my time on. If I'm going to be focusing on Twitter, I want every second that I have to spare to be great at Twitter. So that's me. Doesn't have to be you. A lot of people, they do different, right? So they have like 20 different social channels and they have a huge presence, and I really admire them, but it doesn't work for me. I like to focus on a single thing. So yeah, for me, it's Twitter right now.
No, but maybe because I'm doing this, maybe you think that I do many things at the time. But for example, I started this when I hit 20,000 followers. Before that, I've never done a video in my life. So I decided to start this. So yeah, what you say, I think it's one of the things that are really important, where if you want to be successful in social media or whatever you want, or of course, if you want to get some audience for something, of course, not just for fun, I don't know. Right. But I think it is way better to focus on one social media in the beginning. For example, it has been Twitter for me. I didn't use the Instagram or YouTube before. Then once you feel that you are ready, you can move to something else. This
Right.
is what I did. This is my experience. In August, I decided to also use a little bit Instagram, and also, but mainly focus on YouTube, my YouTube channel. But because I felt that this was the moment. I bought that camera like 10 years ago, and I decided that this year I had to start making videos. So I did that. But yeah, what you say, I agree with you that when we feel ready to do something else, a book, I don't know. I wish you luck for everything you want to do. But yeah, I think that what you are doing is great for now. So
yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. I think Twitter is not down for me. I think I still have, I do have a goal. I don't know why this is just stupid goal, but I said that I'm going to get to 100,000 followers. And the reason is because if you look around, that is sort of like a hard ceiling to reach when you're in tech Twitter. Like usually the big tech Twitter accounts, I mean, there are exceptions obviously, but the big tech Twitter accounts max out at about 50,000 followers. I don't know why. So I said, I'm going to double that. Just a personal goal, not specific reason. I'm going to double that number. But that's my goal. So I'm going to put every single second I have to spare towards that goal. Now you're going to ask me, because some people tell me followers are not important.
Yeah.
I tend to disagree with that. And this is why. The number of followers, sure, the number, empty number, that doesn't matter, right? But followers give you a very interesting view of the past and a very interesting view of your future. Having more followers today means that what you're doing is working. If you're not growing, maybe you need to change your tactics. If you're growing fast, maybe you should double down. So that's what those followers tell you. It tells you how many people you're reaching, how many people are listening to the message. And that's exactly how they connect to the future. The more people you have following you, the more lives you're going to be able to change. Because if you really don't care about followers, you can take a bottle, write down your tweet in a piece of paper, put it inside, and throw it in the ocean. That's not going to help anyone. There is a very little chance that that's going to help everyone. The reason you go to social media is to reach people. So a lot of people can benefit from your message. And that's how followers are important. Not because of a number. Like if you look at them as like a, like this metric that doesn't mean anything, sure, that it doesn't matter. But they are important because they validate what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I understand perfectly your point of view. It's like a math also point of view. So I like that. So it needs to be interpreted in the proper way.
Right. And I want to be careful with words because people,
I'm sure someone will say something that you
like he only cares about followers. No, it's not that. I explained properly what it means. Like last month was my first month reaching 10 million. I think it was 10 points, maybe 11.7. I don't know. It was about 10 million impressions on Twitter. So that's my content was displayed 10 million times on people's timelines, different people. That is a great metric. I know that my content is spreading. And the only reason my content is spreading is because people are liking it, people are retweeting it, people are replying to it, people are connecting with what I'm saying. That means that they are getting help from what I'm doing. Yeah. I want more of that. I don't want less of that. So that's why numbers are important to me.
Yeah, and also your content, I think that honestly, it's really quality content because I think you can make a lot of impressions with jokes and I also did that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I did just not my game.
Yeah, I did. I think I did like 1 million impressions with just a joke. But I know that million impressions is not worth that much. I did that just for fun. I didn't even know that that I would not get so many impressions. But your metrics, I think, in your case, they are good impressions. Let's call them good impressions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know that I mean, at least I know that those impressions are coming from tweets where I'm trying to help people, provide some sort of like a guide or something. So I do like those because that's my goal. My goal is to sort of like give back everything that I've received before. There's nothing wrong with jokes. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, of course.
But jokes are usually going to give you what I call empty engagement. So it's engagement that doesn't come with more followers. It doesn't come with more, like getting 1 million impressions on a joke tells you nothing about what's going to happen with your next tweet. However, if you have a very good tweet that gets 1 million impressions, that tweet is going to give you a lot of profile visits. Those profile visits are going to give you a lot of followers, which means that your next tweet now has a better chance of getting more impressions. And you start building on top of every single successful tweet. That's the way it works. That's the whole game of social media. But a joke is going to give you that 1 million impressions, and then it's going to die down 3 days later. That's what it takes. 72 hours, it's going to die down, and you are starting from square one. You're not going to get any new followers unless somebody that wants another joke, but it's very hard that you're going to get a lot of followers. And that's it. You're starting from scratch. And it becomes the rat race where, yeah, you post a joke, it goes viral, you get back to square one. That's it. And you post a joke and goes, that's not, I mean, not for me. It's great that some people can make it work, but
I think that also it depends on what you want to do with your account. For example,
right, absolutely. Yeah.
For example, there was a period that when I posted a lot of memes because I was in quarantine. I needed to do something but it was to
have fun
for myself. It was good because it was for myself.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, to have fun. Yeah, people liked that, so I did that. When I started making videos, I stopped a little bit because otherwise my account would have been really a mess. So, and people keep still today, they keep asking, why don't you make the job?
What are the memes? Yeah, where are the memes? I remember those memes, by the way.
But they're lovely. But I want also to use this account in a proper way. So, so, and
I think every person has every person has a different purpose, and every person uses Twitter however they like. I'm mostly talking about those that want to help others and want to grow their account, helping others. You want to find engagement that's valuable and that works for you. That's the idea of it.
I totally agree for this. For example, I say this, for example, in my case, when I started posting about Docker, I got like 5 likes, 10 likes at the beginning. But I stayed consistent for like 2 months, and then after that, people started noticing, oh, maybe he knows something because. And I stayed consistent, and that's the way. But I decided to be consistent on a topic, even if I didn't get so many likes, because I already know that in the end it will be paid off. And I also did the public speaking for Google Developer Group, where Danny Thompson invited me for a public speaking on Docker. 2 months later,
I watched your video with Danny.
I
listened to that.
Yeah, and it was my first one. I don't know, but I had many questions, so it went, I think, very well for being my first one. I'd love to do another one because now I think I'm practicing a little bit more by speaking. So I'd love to do another one. But yeah, that 5 likes paid way more than my jokes during months. Way more.
Absolutely. No, I can totally see that. Yeah, I mean, what you did was you established credibility on the Docker area, and people started noticing. What happens is it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. People need to see more and more of your content. So you need to be patient.
Yeah.
You need to keep at it, keep adding value, Don't ask. Keep adding value. Don't tag me saying, can you retweet my tweet? I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
You have to make it through, and you're going to do it.
Yeah. And also another thing that I love that, for example, when I for a period, I tweet a lot about Docker. I want to start again. But after a while, when you establish some credibility, people starts to tag you in some questions on the topic. I don't know if it happens to you. Well, maybe if
Oh
someone,
yeah, all the time. Yep.
and I love that because they think okay, Santiago, what do you think about this? And you were not even in that conversation. So they think, when they think machine learning, they say, oh, Santiago, and they do this connection, and this is this is great for you. Yeah, I think
absolutely.
It's a bit in this way Docker for me. So if someone thinks about that topic, they say, oh, maybe he has the solution, or maybe not, but they first
they're gonna start tagging you.
They first they think about you, and this is very good, and you totally deserve this because you worked a lot for this.
Just for that, yeah, for sure.
I'm very happy when someone tags me in there, and I love to help them in that case because it's like,
and sometimes you know the answer, sometimes you don't, but it's great to have a conversation, to listen another perspective.
You are like that good friend that they call you. Oh, can you
help here?
Yeah, because they know that you are the expert, and they call you. And I think in that case,
that's validation for what you're doing. That validates that you are being helpful. People think that you are the expert, that you know what you're talking about. That's really good.
Yeah. And also by doing this, you really became an expert, because by answering questions all the day long about
that's the other thing.
Topic.
Hey, that's the other thing. People ask me stuff that I have no idea how to answer. I have no idea. Okay. So it's hard stuff, and people think that I may know what I'm supposed to do there, and I don't. So the only way for me to answer those questions is getting back to my computer and searching and trying to understand new concepts or new formulas or whatever it is, so I can go back and don't look like a fool because I didn't know the answer. So they are forcing me to be on top of my game. They're forcing me to learn more. They're forcing me to grow. And that is a lot of benefit that comes my way. So I'm helping them by helping me. And it's great. That's the other thing. If I want to keep posting good content, I have to keep studying. Because people are going to call you out. If you say something that is not true, people are going to say that is not true. So whenever I'm going to talk about one of these concepts, maybe machine learning dropout, I better know what I'm talking about. So before posting that tweet, I'm going to go and I'm going to refresh on what dropout is. And I'm going to find another word, and I'm going to say, I don't know what that word is. Let me dig deeper. Let me go in there. Let me understand. Because if somebody asks me, I'm going to feel naked at that point. And this has happened to me a couple times where I post something with one sentence. I post 10 different bullet points. And one of those bullet points, I copy it from somewhere, right? So I'm reading a book, and I, look at the book, and I copy that bullet point, and I do not understand it 100%. Guess what happens? All the questions come about that bullet point. Why do you say that? I'm like, I don't know. The book says that. I don't know what, and that always happens. That's Murphy's law. So I need to be careful. And now whenever I post something, I better know what I'm posting, because I'm not going to let anyone to call me out. So it's great thing that comes your way.
Yeah, Santiago, I really love that. I love your honesty. So I take this case to say that this also happens to me. So if someone does a question, if I can answer to that, maybe they call you expert because maybe you know where to look for, at least.
That's the idea.
That's what the expert does. So
that's what the expertise is.
Yeah. You already I don't know this exact question, but I know where I could find something about that question. Mm-hmm. So at least you know where to search for.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I have. Look at this. This is a book that I always use here, and I usually recommend. So I really like this book. It's called Hands-On Machine Learning with Scikit-learn, Keras and TensorFlow. Do you really think I can put all of those pages here?
Great. Okay.
So I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think the person who wrote this book knows everything that's written here from memory. That's not the way it works. I cannot do it myself. So this is a reference. What makes me an expert is that I know where to look for an answer. What makes me an expert is that I've worked on similar problems before. So I know how to find a solution. I know, okay, when I see something, I know, okay, that might not exactly be what I know, but I know something similar. Let me look here, let me find, let me talk to. That's expertise. It's not knowing every single word that is in this book, because that is unrealistic.
Maybe you need to be an actor to remember all that book.
I mean,
memory.
It's not.
And memory is really not my best skill. I don't know. I don't know you, but I am really bad at memories. I need to continuous reference to something. I don't want to waste my memory, because my memory could go away tomorrow.
That's not what it's about. So expertise is about knowing, having those situations, knowing how to find information. That's why it's so important. A lot of people put this on Twitter. It's so important to know how to search. People say, hey, every single developer uses Google. Every single developer uses Stack Overflow. So your expertise does not come from knowing the answer. It comes from knowing what to Google and how to find that answer. That's super important for sure.
I totally agree on this. We still look, we still keep searching every day, even if maybe we know one thing or two about our best topic. And maybe on the other topics, we know almost anything. Don't know anything, but that's it. So thank you for having you here. It has been
thank you for inviting me.
But I was really looking forward for this. So thank you. It's been really great. It's different. It's different to see you in a video. I've seen that but you have started posting some videos now, or maybe
I started. I want to do sort of like, I'm trying. This is something that I'm trying, experimenting with. So certain messages come better across when you do a video. They are hard to explain in a tweet or in a Twitter thread. So I decided, how about if I can put together like a 2-minute video every now and then, maybe once in a week, and try to explain, try to convey the message that I'm thinking of, right? So I did one this week. It did incredible well. Okay, so I was expecting like 500 views. It got 10,500 views. So it's just beyond my imagination, right? So I'm going to try another one next week and see if that sticks, see if I can find value there. And we'll see. Those are very short, like 1 minute, 1 minute and a half videos. So let's see how that goes.
I love that. And and keep those videos, because maybe one day you'll put them somewhere else.
Maybe one day it will be YouTube.
Keep them.
Let's see.
Keep them. For example, Simon did something like that. I don't know.
I loved Simon videos. What I'm doing right now is definitely following Simon's lead. So I saw the videos. I'm like, it's a very different style. It's just me talking to a camera. Simon puts a lot of thought and a lot of resources into creating his videos. His videos are very, very good. Mine are more casual, or I want to make them more casual, but it's following Simon's lead. I really enjoy them. So I want to do the same thing. For sure.
It's a great idea. Best luck on that, because I love also your mindset to try some different things.
For sure.
To evolve in something different, but still stay on Twitter, because you have goals. So it seems that you have a clear path, and you are following that very well. So I wish you best luck for everything.
Thank you.
I hope to have you again, and maybe one day maybe promote something else about you. But,
okay.
Let's see.
For now, it's just my Twitter. That's what I'm focusing on.
That's what I'm doing. Yes. If you're interested into these topics, I highly recommend you to follow him, because it's really you'll never regret about this. Trust me. So
Thank you. Really appreciate that, and loved our time, man. It was a great conversation.
It's been a really great time. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.